let me officially open this webinar. We are here upon the title of Igniting Change, Building a Culture of Innovations in Your Organization. This is the webinar in a series called Rethink HR, organized by DEVELOR International. So we will be talking about the change. So first of all, I would like to tell you a little bit about my perspective. I'm Managing Director in Poland. My name is Bartek Wrzosek, and I will be the host of this event. I think that nowadays we are living in the times of constant change. So people and organizations need to react properly and fast for the environment if they would like to grow or if they would like to survive. Innovations became a driving force of many businesses. They help us not only to find out completely new things, like, for example, internet or the generative AI nowadays, but for above all, the new ways how to use, for example, the internet, or how to use nowadays the generative AI. So innovations is not about the inventions, but also about the process, how to make them fit to the organization, fit to the daily tasks. Almost every organization, as I see, would like to be innovative. But how to do it? How to create the culture who drives the innovation in the teams? How leaders and HR could support? We will try to address at least some of those questions during today's webinar. So this is the short agenda, and two gentlemen who will join us also as speakers. We will start with the keynote done by our managing director in Czech Republic and Slovakia, Martin Kunz, who is one of the most innovative guys in our network. So this is the first topic. After that, we will have the panel discussion with our guests. So I will again ask Martin, but also our external guest, Ibrahim Hamed from the very traditional and big bank from the Middle East. And we will have this panel discussion about how our guests are supporting the building of the culture of innovations in the organization. At the end, after the official closing, we will have, as usual, the breakout rooms. So for those who would like to stay with us, we will have 3 breakout rooms with our experts. They are specializing in some topics they could a little bit elaborate more. Like Martin will be talking about innovation DNA, so our product called Mission to Mars 2. Reka Gref will talk about psychological safety, and I will be talking about agile project management. So this is the agenda. So three elements, 3 modules. All in all, we planned this session for 1.5 hours, but how we will end up, we will see. If you would like to stay with us longer, then please stay. If it will be shorter, then for sure you will find some other task to do if we finish earlier. So this is it regarding the agenda. In case of some technical elements, please be active and use the chat. If you will have any questions, so this is probably because of the size of the audience, the most accurate solution to contact with us, to ask some extra questions or to comment something. So chat is for sure the best way. In case of the speakers, please be muted during the webinar, and the webinar will be recorded. So if you would like to be not be let's say shooted by our video, so just switch off the camera if you like, but it's up to you. Okay, so let's start with our keynote, innovation culture journey. So I will pass my voice to Mr. Martin Kunz from DEVELOR Czech and Slovakia. So Martin, the stage is yours.
So there is actually a reason why me and Bartek are in this call. I think one of the reasons is that both DEVELOR Czech and Slovakia and also DEVELOR Poland are the most innovative countries probably in DEVELOR network. But there is also one more reason, and it is that for a very long time I was working as a culture transformation consultant. The biggest exposure was during the time when I was leading DEVELOR in Middle East, and DEVELOR was like heavily involved in transformation of Etisalat, which is like leading Middle East telco operator. But more and more we know them also in Europe because they recently bought PPF Telecom. So they are present in Slovakia, or soon will be Hungary, Bulgaria, and Serbia, and also they are like building strong stake in Vodafone. The topic of innovation, I must say I love it and hate it at the same time. I love it because it can deliver great results. I hate it because it's so difficult. And I will now talk about most of the difficulties, and my keynote will be focused on like what we in HR can do to make it possible to allow people to deliver innovations. And I would like you to start with thinking about your corporate strategy, about your corporate priorities. And just remember them and recall what are the core strategic priorities of your organization. And I bet innovation and automation is one of the core strategic priorities. Whoever I'm working with, it's everywhere. So innovation, automation is always there. Companies want to be more innovative. And it's true that the really great innovations are delivered by end-to-end team that works like an orchestra. But on the other side, it is an extreme challenge to create an orchestra in the corporation. And I think this is where HR can really step in, and HR can support to make this mission, which is impossible, possible. And that's the role of an HR. So I think it would be good to have a look what the key issues with innovations are. And I think overall, any kind of project, if you look how long it takes us from the beginning till the first results, and I'm not even calling to the end, the time to market is very long. So thinking, talking to GMs, talking to board, their original expectation was that it will be much faster. The time to market is too long, and it's true on both sides. So when it is still in the hands of business, and then when the IT delivery is happening, because the core of innovation involve, or most of the innovation involve IT implementation. So not only it is long, but also the impact of many innovative projects is questionable. And again, there are probably two reasons, and it is that it's not so easy for us adults to be really creative. I have 3 kids, my youngest kid is 2, and when you are observing your kids, you know that this is unleashed creativity, and it has no barriers, it has no linkage. My second kid is 12, and it's quite formed with the school and education. Still the creativity is there, but somehow the environment does not fully support that. And my third kid is 15, and my oldest kid is quite well formed to be, in the process, in the expectation, and the creativity which was originally there is kind of disappearing over time because our society is not fully supporting that. And here I'm talking about one individuals. But when I start to talk about teams utilizing creativity or being creative and delivering innovations, which is much more difficult process than just be creative, this is a real challenge. And most of us on this call are from HR. So I think our internal question is, how can we help? So what is our role? What is the next steps? Because it is part of the corporate strategy and we want to be relevant, so we want to help. And throughout the innovations that I work on and throughout the many innovations and culture transformations that I was supporting, I think one of the key roles that we have as an HR is making it clear what delivering innovation means in our company. And it's both in terms of steps and in terms of behaviors. Now, if you are thinking about your next year HR projects, take a print screen of this page, because this can be your brief. This is what you can aim to do. And it can be a project which you put into your portfolio and start supporting the like cultural transformations towards the innovation. So what is the challenge? What is the project challenge for us for HR? I think like what we have to find out is how in our corporation we can actually approach delivery of innovation in a way that empowers people from diverse backgrounds, from diverse departments in our organizations and diverse roles and skill set. And it's fostering collaborative environment where creativity thrives and innovation becomes really a shared responsibility. And this is what we should aim to do, what we should aim to deliver to our organization to support the strategic priority of innovation. And there are two major questions people have and we have to deliver on. So the first one is good. So we want to be innovative, yeah, but what is our innovation process? What way of work we will follow? And the answer, we call it, is innovation journey. So let's agree in each corporation what our innovation journey is. But innovation journey is not enough because we were already trying a variety of approaches like design thinking supported with agile. But we also have to make it clear what is the type of behavior that we want to have in our organization that will deliver and support the innovation journey. And this piece we are calling innovation culture map. So two major outcomes, how we HR can support innovation journey and innovation culture map. Let me give you an example. Many of you know design thinking. Many of you know it is 5-step process. It's always difficult for me to work with the fingers on a process number 4, and it's difficult to count. So I prefer 3-step process. It's easy to work with 3 steps. So an example of innovation journey in a 3-step process is something like we first understand, get deep inside and get inspired in the surrounding. Once we have it done, we go into the creativity part and we develop all the options. And once that's done, we start with prototyping and testing, and we keep repeating that because this 3-step innovation process is a non-stop journey that we are undergoing. And I think each organization should be clear what the journey is, because if it's not clear, then people don't know how innovation is approached, on which page we are. And if you don't know on which page we are, it's difficult to get aligned. That's not enough because the innovation journey does not give us clear answer on the type of behaviors that we want to promote and the type of behaviors that we don't want to see, and also the routines and roles which will be supporting that behavior. And I think that's the moment where this culture or innovation culture comes into the topic. And what it is all about. It's designed to help individuals and teams to understand what are the components that we want to have in the innovation culture. And it helps people to understand how we will provide feedback, what is the type of behavior we praise, what is the type of behavior we don't want, and what are the roles and routines that we will keep in order to deliver. It has like variety of components, and it might be different for each company. So an example of component that the innovation culture map might have is what type of behaviors we are having in order to be aligned, to understand where is our true north, or how we are approaching behavior-wise innovation and creativity delivery, how we collaborate, how we are able to fail, how we learn from the failure and how we improve, and also how we are challenging each other, because challenging each other is really important. Many outcome of such behavior culture map is visible here. So it always has yes type of behaviors. So what we want to see, what we praise, what we are guided by. There are no behaviors. So what we don't want, what we don't tolerate, what we are giving improvement feedbacks to, and rules and routines. So how we make sure it's happening. And for every organization that is, where innovation is strategic important, it's also critically, strong to know what are the rules of innovation game. And on the beginning of my keynote speech, I said, I love and hate this topic. Now, why I hate this topic is because it's really not time efficient to deliver innovation. The time we invest to prototyping, to testing the prototype, to improve is really strong. And we find a lot of ways how not to do things. Think of Thomas Alva Edison. He found 400 ways how not to create the bulb. Time efficiency was really small and must be very frustrating for him. But because he's sustained, he's famous, and all of us, we know him. It's also risky. It's also risky to go into innovation because it's more or less clear that you will fail. People expect to win, to be successful, to be praised, and this is not happening. During the initial stages of prototyping, we are not praised, we are not successful, we are not, heroes and winners, because we are testing hypotheses and we need to learn from the hypothesis. Managing the failures is a very important part of the game. Putting ego to the passenger's seat is important. So companies who want to be innovative needs to know what is their journey, what is the culture map, and what are the rules of the innovation game. And I believe that role of HR is to let innovation fly and support our organizations in creating answers about those three topics. If you want to learn more, join me in the breakout room when I will share a little bit more details. Before I hand over to Bartek, I would like to get some of your thoughts. So please, if you can scan this QR code that will take you to Mentimeter. If you don't have QR code scanner or your camera does not support that, please write into your browser www.menti.com and give there the pin which you can see on the screen. And can you please share your key thoughts on HR role in the innovation process? Because we would love to get your opinion. So the answers are coming. Create the environment. Manage silos because it's a huge blocker. Support motivation. Develop people. Support people engagement. Provide Scrum Masters. True, it's important role. Be a motivation booster. Encourage. Lead the change. I think critically important. Support implementing innovation. Act as way of internal communication. Yes, I believe HR has major role in supporting innovation as core pillar of our strategy. And I think the reason why we are here, because we want to discuss and share how to win. Bartek?
Okay. Just digging deeper into the topic, for sure, thanks, Martin, for this keynote. Very useful ideas, I think, for everyone. I found another proof that building innovations is not always inventing something new, but sometimes simplifying. So what I observed, you even simplified the 5-step process of design thinking into 3. So even, well-known methodologies could be simplified. So it's also the proof that you are very innovative guy. So thank you for that. So ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look on what we have now in our agenda. So let me just skip to the next slide. So now we will start the panel discussion with our guests. First of all, I would like to encourage you to change the view. So change to the speaker view. It's right up corner of your screen, just to see all panelists. So as I told you at the beginning, one of our speakers will be Martin Kunz, who delivered this special keynote, but we have also another gentleman, Mr. Ibrahim Hamed. He is head of learning and development and organizational culture in the Bank Misr, located in Cairo, Egypt. So assalamu alaikum, Ibrahim.
Alaikum assalam, Bartek. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thanks for the great also keynote by Martin. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin, for your time and joining us. So let's immediately jump to some questions, and I will start with you, and I will also give some extra voice to Martin to comment on that and maybe to add something. So first of all, could you just briefly introduce your company, because we would like to know more?
Of course, of course. For the people on the webinar, of course, Bank Misr is an Egyptian bank. It's an old bank, over 100 years old, over a century old. And we are 22,000 employees. We are a government bank, and we are transforming into digital transformation to have a competitive edge and to compete locally and regionally. So this is in a nutshell who is Bank Misr.
Okay, thank you very much. So it seems that the bank has very fantastic and long tradition. Founded a century ago, so probably one of the first bank in the entire region. So from the business point of view, how does that benefit you today?
Okay, so of course, as a government bank and a huge organization that has been here for long, we have rooted culture, and this rooted culture, I'm not shy to say it's a bit bureaucratic, I'm not shy to say that it's a bit outdated, but now we have senior management who are focused on competing. And basically, this all digital transformation investment is to have a competitive edge. In today's world, you can't be number one if you're not counting on innovation and technology. And this is proven by simply seeing who are the big fours. Apple, Google, Amazon, Netflix. So basically, technology-led organizations are the winners. So if you would like to be, or if you would like to have a competitive edge in the banking industry, you can't just be effective and efficient. You have to always also be innovative. So in business terms, we have a huge challenge of a very big number of employees, working in silos, of course, bureaucratic, sticking to the process, but we are calling for a different drive. We're calling for customer-driven products. We're calling for customer-driven processes. We're calling for innovative. We're calling for collaboration, building on each other's idea, communicate. We are managing a huge change. And as you know, when you manage a change, you have to tell the story behind the story. You have to onboard people. You have to be in continuous alignment. Otherwise, this all investment fails. And I recall a speech that also I heard from Mr. Chris Colbert, who is the managing director of Harvard Innovation Lab. And the guy shared some very, very scary numbers. He said that $8.4 trillion are spent on digital transformation in different sectors, in different parts of the world, from 2017 to 2021. These analysis by Harvard Innovation Lab says that $8.4 trillion spent on digital transformation. The scary number after that was 89% of that failed. So when you imagine the huge investment and the continuous trials to get this right, to get digital transformation right. Of course, some people who would like to be in their comfort zone, people who would like to stay in their, keep the status quo, right? Some people like that, they will resist any changes. And the maximum they can help you with, they will say, okay, let's go and buy technology, right? Let's go get a vendor, buy a technology. And this technology will help us to digitally transform. But the thing is, if you buy technology, also your competitor can buy the same technology. And there you lost your competitive edge. So in business terms, you want to achieve a competitive edge. And therefore, you have to build digital capability within your organization. So you can have a bespoke or a customized solution that gives you that competitive edge. It's not a technology that you go to and buy. It's a mentality, a mindset, a belief that matches your investment in digital transformation, building the capabilities within the organization, reskilling and upskilling people. I have in Bankmas, I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have accountants, I have people who understand risk, of course, people who understand control. So these people, what if their job turned into a system, which is, of course, many people are seeing digital transformation as a threat. It's a threat to the competencies they built over the year. It's a threat to the role in the organization. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to turn them into a liability, a people that you pay their salary and you don't use them actually? Or are you going to offer them learning tracks and reskilling opportunities to gain the skills of tomorrow, rather than being an accountant, being a programmer, software engineer, designer, any role, business analyst, data scientist. These are the skills of tomorrow that we are trying hard to build within Bank Masr to keep that competitive advantage that we are investing in. So did I answer your question, or do you want me to say more? Because
yeah.
I talk a lot. I have to warn you, I talk a lot. So
no problem with that. It was very interesting. So let's make it a little bit deeper, because we have a lot of
Sure.
people from HR during
Sure.
this call. So maybe let's talk about this human aspect specifically. You started telling us a little bit about reskilling and upskilling, but maybe you would like to add something. So what are you doing to get people to support the change, and how difficult it is for you?
Okay, so what we did is, so I'll tell you what we did, and I'll tell you what we are about to do. But when I talk about what we are about to do, unfortunately, I will not have a success rate because it's not done yet. So what we did was, of course, we are working on a huge culture transformation project. And this culture transformation project is, and especially and regarding the innovation, because innovation is one of our values. So how can you build an innovative, how can you ignite this culture of innovation? What we did was, first thing is, we launched an innovation competition within the bank. So this innovation competition, of course, we built a platform. From this platform, we decided, or we directed people's mind to think of 4 areas, right? Like cost saving ideas, increasing revenues ideas, control and smart alerts ideas. So we are directing the innovation towards where we're going. And in that innovation competition, we got 190 teams. And by the way, those teams are not from where they are in the organization. So I give you a platform, you document your idea, and we discuss, is your idea related to operation? Is it related to marketing? Do you need help from the digital factory? Do you need help from the ATM management team? So we got people together on that platform. And when they got together, they start to meet and formulate this idea together. So I have more than one department working together as a team in an innovation competition. And when they started working together, they needed some advice. So we also offered them a pool of consultants from within the organization, mentors, coaches, people who knows how things get done, but they're not part of the team. They are there only to offer their advice. This innovation competition succeeded last year, and we got 3 ideas adopted by the management. And they started to be implemented, and they started really to show that cost saving and really shows that increasing revenue. The new thing we would like to do in our innovation competition for this year is that we will offer something that was not, it was never offered in any organization in the Middle East, as far as I know, which is the intra-entrepreneurship. Now, in the new innovation competition, in part 2 of that innovation competition, we will allow employees to actually leave their role, get 60% of their income, and work on their idea for a year. If they succeeded, they become CEOs of a new company under the accelerator program of Bank Masr for the fintech startups. And they will become CEOs with 5% share of the company revenue plus their salary. If they fail, and this is the good part, we have a safety net. They go back to their job and they take their full salary again. Okay. So we offer intra-entrepreneurship. We offer innovation competition. We offer people a chance to get out of silos and make their dream come true within the organization. That's one thing. The second thing is we, of course, purchased a product from Microsoft, which is Microsoft Teams. And we have the Viva Engage platform, which is like a Facebook for the employees, where people can say their opinion about things. And we take things very seriously. We reply to these comments. We escalate it to the concerned managers or leaders, and we try to make people's dreams come true. Because you have to work on the employee experience if you want to change their culture. There is no way out of this. Changing a culture is not rocket science. You take care of your people, they take care of your business. As simple as this, right? And you have to put your rules. You have to put your rules. You have to put your do's. You have to put your don'ts. And you have to put those behavioral indicators very clearly in your performance management system. So this is the second thing we did. We worked on a scorecard of everyone. We put those behavioral indicators for leaders, for managers, for younger generation or junior employees. Everybody knows what is expected from them. If you want to be innovative, you have to work with others. You have to show that collaboration. You have to participate in new projects. If you want to be collaborative, you have to say your opinion, and have to say your opinion based on data. You say your opinion based on being engaged in continuous learning, and that's the third thing. We offer our employees a lifelong learning system. Now, everybody's talking about lifelong learning. Everybody's talking about encouraging their employees to be engaged in continuous learning. But we found a system that it pops up every morning. When you log into your screen, you will have a pop-up message. This pop-up message says a question in mandatory training topics. Mandatory training topics in banks are compliance, anti-money laundering, fraud prevention, whatever. Risk. How do you assess risk in your role in the bank? Financial analysis. You have to know financial analysis to work in a bank. Business continuity management. You have to know how the business keep going, right? There are rules to business continuity. And we ask the people one question a day as long as they are in the bank. So as long as you log into your screen, you will be questioned and you will know the right answer. Once you click the answer, MCQs, of course, once you click the answer, you get to know the right answer. So people go and talk to each other, right? People go and talk to each other about, oh, this is the answer of the question. You have to know that. Sorry, I will, I think I need to move, if you don't mind. I know that I need to be in the same place, but I have crowd around me, so I don't want to disturb the webinar, so I will move to a quieter place, okay? I'm sorry. We are trying to say, just to recap what I told you, we built an innovation competition. We got into people's scorecards and KPIs, and we also started the lifelong learning to allow people to be continuously engaged in learning, important learning. And of course, when we are done, when we are able to execute on the mandatory training topics that, of course, the central bank is very, very concerned with, we push questions related to innovative mindset. We push questions related to collaboration. We push questions related to shared goals, because if it doesn't start from the top, it will never happen, right? So if it starts from the top, this means you have to agree, have shared objectives. I don't succeed if you don't succeed, right? And if this is the mentality of the leader, it's automatically cascading within the organization. So it's very, very important to work on your leadership team and to make sure that they have shared goals in their scorecard. Otherwise, it doesn't translate to reality. Otherwise, collaboration is not serious. We have culture issues, existing culture issues, that people only work under fear. But fear doesn't bring innovation because you're not engaged. You are ticking the box. You are covering your whatever, right? So we don't want to be in that position. We want people to be engaged. We want people to achieve the extra mile. They can't do that under fear. They can do that only when they are involved. They can do that only when it's their own ideas. So, for example, a big manager sitting with his team, and the younger member of their team says, you know what, I see things differently. I don't think we should do that. I think we should do the other thing, because I read an article that McDonald's or Starbucks are starting to do this. And, you know, the big manager will say, who's this young guy? You just joined yesterday. Really? Are you the one who is telling us what to do? And that's a big, big impediment to innovative culture, because this young guy who's very innovative, who sees the world differently, and who's, by the way, more digitally savvy than a guy with a gray hair like myself. This guy, his ideas are very important to be discussed seriously. because he can bring this new perspective to the organization. So listening to each other, encouraging young people to say their opinion, putting from our experience the right framework for these ideas to flourish is absolutely crucial for innovative ideas or for innovative environment, innovative culture. So is that more like 1, 2, 3, 4 takeaway sounds to you? Is that okay?
It is. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Bartek, you were muted and you still are.
Yeah, I started just to share my personal likes with the muted speaker. So what I wanted to say that I see now how important the psychological safety is.
Absolutely.
Because especially your idea about, for example, entrepreneurship programs, with the chance to, came back if you fail, so with no risk. So just continuing this panel discussion, maybe I will just ask Martin about his perspective from the consultant and the trainer point of view. So what do you see, Martin, and what you would like to share?
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for your thoughts. That confirms my idea that ask an Egyptians and you will get immense number of creativity and opportunities. Fantastic. So in terms of the human aspect of change, we all know it's very difficult because that's our HR job to try to manage that. People variety of approaches needs to be somehow managed. I think growth mindset is critically important, and many people miss that. So we are talking about growth mindset theoretically, but to change the fixed mindset to growth mindset is big change. And one more learning, because obviously as a consultant, I'm studying the collaboration methodologies. I think one of the most successful collaboration methodology is Lean. Obviously, Lean is only tailored to one aspect of business improvements, but for sure it is a successful collaboration methodology. And I think what is our learning from methodologies like Lean is that if we give structure to people behavior, we get them on a similar page, then results can come faster because it's easier for them to know where they are, to understand what is the next step, and it's easier for them to agree. And I believe the same logic is with innovation, that we need to give a structure to people how we do that, so that they know where we are, what is the next step, and what is expected. Because otherwise, and I will use a metaphor of popular food, which is cooked in Central Europe, which is called goulash. And goulash is, a lot of stuff put together and mixed, and it tastes great. The problem if the goulash method used in innovation is that it does not create a positive outcome. So the structure, like Lean methodology, is important. Design thinking, for example, aims to give it to us, but that's not enough.
Thank you, Martin. So just continuing, maybe Ibrahim, some extra questions to you, because we started to think and to talk about 3 elements of building the culture, like mindset, skills, and also tools. So you also gave us some examples. So maybe some other ideas or examples came to your mind how you specifically focus on the mindset, skills, or routines and tools to support this building.
So of course, from in terms of learning and development, we run a lot of programs that is teaching people growth mindset and design thinking. However, the implementation in practical is not so easy. So I'll give you an example, right? Design thinking, of course, is a great process. However, you need to factor time, right? I mean, people say fail early, fail fast, learn faster, right? That's the motto for people who speaks open innovation language. So how do you do that? How do you do that? You're a manager, in a government bank, you're responsible to deliver results. You have a huge amount of operation dumped on you, on your team. So if you do not factor time for experiments, if you do not factor time for mistakes, if you not factor the delay expected from doing something new, if you did not factor capability building of the people who will actually execute these projects, then you are letting this project to fail dramatically, and nobody will have the mindset of, okay, we're learning, this is new, they have the right to fail. No, sir, this is government bank, this is people's money, there is no room for mistakes, right? So the idea is, it's not about saying the right thing, it's about factoring real time for people to develop an experiment. This is the truth about it, right? Also, in terms of growth mindset. Now, we have designed a fantastic transformational journey for our leaders, right? Because we want our leaders to role model. Culture transformation is just like parenting, in my opinion. And parenting requires you to introduce 3 concepts. Concept number 1, be a role model. You can't tell your children to do what you don't do, right? Children see, children do. So basically, you have to be a role model for what you're calling for. If you want your team to be innovative, you have to discuss innovative ideas in every meeting. It's as simple as this. And you have to personally come up with new things. So role modeling. Second thing, you need to send consistent messages in different packages and different situations. So it's the same message about working together. It's the same message about thinking together. It's the same message about brainstorming, about sandbox, about the same thing. You inbuilt the framework. You built the framework for people to be innovative as a leader. So you have to be a role model. You have to send consistent messages in different packages and different situations until it becomes part of people's unconscious mind. And the third thing is you have to introduce reward and consequences. Are we rewarding innovative people enough? Are we asking people in performance appraisal, are they doing the same thing they did last year? I mean, maybe you are aware of this, but there is a definition for insanity, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results. So if you are doing exactly what you did last year, then you will get the same result of last year. Basically, so what is the new thing that you are introducing to your role? What is the new thing that you are introducing to your team? What is the new ideas that you are offering to your organization? If this question and this type of conversation is happening between every manager and their team, you have no doubt that your organization will be very innovative with totally different results next year, right? So this is the mindset, this is the think, talk, behave that we are trying to push in the DNA of the organization. We design reward and recognition programs. We took the leaders in a transformational journey. And this transformational journey for the leaders, it has a very, very, very important mindset based on positive psychology. Based on positive psychology, I'll try to explain this point briefly. Now, each one of us have a strength point, right? The first question is this a strength point magnified in your organization? Do you get clapped for, you get applause for what you do? And is the organization helping you to master what you are good at? Because when you get this feeling that we invested in your strength and you become better, you become engaged. You become creative because you feel that there is somebody's paying attention, right? So we magnify people's strength and we allow those leaders to speak in front of each other about their strength as they see it. And of course, you know the Johari window, right? Johari window, that what I know about myself and people know about me, what I don't know about myself and people know about me, what nobody knows about me, and you know the window of when the leaders shared openly what are their strengths, because everybody's proud to share their strength, right? So it's a good point to tell people, tell us about your strength. So they stand up with a lot of pride and they talk about their strength. And after they talk about their strength, we say, Now, everybody have a judgmental lens. I have a judgmental lens, you have a judgmental lens, everybody have a judgmental lens. And this judgmental lens that you see people, you judge people based on your strength point. So for example, I am a guy who knows how to talk. So if I meet people who can't express their ideas, what am I thinking? I'm thinking those people are not strong. Automatically, right? Unfortunately, this is very wrong. Because when you judge people based on your own strength, you see them small, while they are really strong and much better than you in other areas. So when you bring that understanding to the group, you bring humility. And that's very important. You have to bring humility and you have to bring collaboration. We will not achieve that big goal unless we count on each other's strength point and we form a very strong team. And this is one of the steps that we did also for breaking silos. So when you see other people's strength, you become humble to understand that they have strength that you don't have. And you understand that we complete each other as a strong team. And from that foundation, then you can build a collaborative workforce who can think together, build on each other idea, and achieve innovation.
Okay. Thank you, Ibrahim. Martin, what would you add to what just Ibrahim said?
Yeah, so I will continue like on the routines, on the leadership routines supporting innovation. And we all know the challenges that corporations are facing, which is too many management layers, too many silos. I started my keynote speech with talking about creating end-to-end orchestras in companies, which is actually impossible, because end-to-end means business, process, architects, analytics, developers, testers, release managers, impossible. And obviously in companies like DEVELOR, it's not difficult to be flat in terms of organizational structure. And I believe in flat organizational structure. But if you look into corporations, we can also find some positive examples. And I like to invest in stocks. And if we look, the stock to be invested in the last year, it is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is US producer of graphical chips. And if you invested 10,000 last year, you have 30,000 this year. So that's the best stock to invest. And if you study the leadership routines of their leader, which is Jensen Huang, it's very interesting because he has like three interesting routines. The first one is like very low leadership layer. We typically say that it should not be more than 15 people reporting to CEO, but actually to Jensen Huang, there is 40 people reported directly to him. That's one. Second, he believes that there are no board meetings, and he is not limited the meetings to his 40 direct reportees. So whenever there is a meeting he's holding, everybody who wants to join is invited. Why? Because if they have an idea, if they have a reason why it does not work, they should be in. He does not want to have those, in between management layers, which would be filtering what is happening and, hiding reality. Other thing which is quite important, and that might be shocking, he's saying no one-on-ones, because saying everything can be discussed publicly if there is a psychological safety, and everyone should hear the important thoughts and ideas which should be told. So this is an revolutionary approach. He is a revolutionary CEO, but in the time where innovation is the most important asset and it's beating the operational efficiency, this leadership approach makes NVIDIA the most successful stock, and it's the stock to invest in, and it is probably the leadership approach to learn from.
Thank you, Martin, for investment tips, especially. But I like also the unexpected routines, the the CEO inviting everyone for the meeting. So if you are bringing value, then you are welcome. So this is something really, really powerful. So this is good advice to all of us. So let me just pass my voice once again to Ibrahim, and because I'm just checking how are we in case of timing, but it's all right. So we still have some time for some questions. So I would like to ask you about the future. So how are your plans in the nearest future in case of learning and development and building this innovation culture?
Okay, so of course, what we did was we worked with multinational organizations to design a new competency framework for core and leadership, of course. And our competency framework is really oriented towards the future. What we are looking for is to build managers in the next 5 to 8 years that can lead this organization to become a fully digital organization that is cloud native, right? This is the dream. And to have that competitive edge that will make us different than any bank in the local or regional market. So what we are looking for is we assess our managers based on certain competencies like change potential. That's number one. What I mean by change potential, are you accepting new ideas? Are you bold? Are you decisive? From a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? You can be very traditional. You can be very considering. You can be very risk averse, right? You can be, but this will not take us anywhere. Although this is the inherited culture. So we are testing people and looking at competencies related to change, decision making. How do you take decisions? There are 3 ways to take decisions, right? Number 1, which is the best, data-driven decisions, right? Number 1. Number 2, based on science and education, which means also you have to be engaged in continuous learning. Whether it's about videos you see, articles you read, the bite-sized learning that we send to the organization across through SAP system or through Teams platform, right? The third thing is from experience. So you have 3 ways to take a decision: experience, learning, data, right? Experience, I don't think it's there because you don't get the chance to be in an organization that is transforming a lot of times during your career. Maybe you get that once, maybe you get that twice, and that's the best you can get, right? So because transformation takes a lot of years, right? So how much you can witness based on experience and take a decision related to the future based on experience. It's like driving a car while looking at the rear view mirror, right? You can't drive a car looking only at the rear view mirror. But this is decisions based on experience and transformation. Decisions based on engaged in continuous learning, based on proven science or proven success stories or business cases is also acceptable. Decisions based on data, we're not there yet. We are not there yet. We did not manage the data within Bank Masr to offer our managers a proper dashboard to take a data-driven decision. So this is about decision making, but all these details, you have to be very careful when you think about them. So I will go back to the competency framework. Change potential, that's number 1. People regard. Do we have a people regard or no? We want to be an organization that focus on people happiness, employee experience, customer experience. And as I said at the beginning, you take care of your people, they take care of your business. You can't be neglecting or deprioritizing your employee experience and expecting an amazing customer experience. You can't. It doesn't make sense, right? So what we're saying is, what is your people regard? Are you empathetic or are you detached? If you are empathetic and you care about how your customer feel, how your people feel, rest assured that your strategy will be suitable because it's customer driven, right? And this is all the agile mindset is about, right? We want to be an agile organization. To be an agile, you have to continuously collect customer feedback. You have internal customers and external customers. Of course, the external customer is what is so-called the customer of the organization. And the internal customer is the employees to each other, right? So if you manage the expectation, if you exceeded this expectation, if you are collecting feedback continuously, and you are able to inspect and adapt, then you are agile, then you are customer driven, then most probably people regard is an essential quality in the manager of the organization. We also talk about part of the new competencies that we are looking at. We also talk about commercial thinking, entrepreneurship, right? Any decision you take within the organization, it has to have a business case. You have to tell us how this will save cost or how this will increase revenue. If there is no business case, you don't have a commercial thinking, you're taking a decision based on your role in the organization. Maybe your role is this big, but it will make a huge impact in the outcome. So every role is important, every decision is important, and every decision should be studied based on commercial thinking and entrepreneurship and experiment. Are you willing to experiment? Are you willing, like we said, are you willing to factor time? Are you willing to accept mistakes? And how much mistakes would you accept? Because there are operational mistakes. We can't forgive operational mistakes, but we can forgive experiential mistakes because we're trying something new. So we have to factor the time, we have to factor the delay, we have to factor the expected cost. So we can tolerate the idea of fail early, fail fast, learn faster.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Martin, any final comments, thoughts?
About the future? Yes, so I think, I have a dream, and the dream is that we are building end-to-end teams which are working like orchestras of innovation. And what it actually means that they are willing to take the risk of failure, because that's how innovation is delivered. We keep failing and learning from it so long till it works. Who are willing to invest the time in this non-efficient creativity and innovation process, and who are able to, put their ego on the passenger drive and learn from all the feedback that they are getting to their ideas and to the outcomes of the teams, so that people start to deliver and we start to beat those core KPIs that we expect from innovation, which is time to market, because we want this to be a little faster, and impact of innovation. So that's my dream for the future. And I think that's the job that all of us has to do. And we are not programmed for it, because we were programmed for operational excellence. In the last 20 years, we were running business by improving operational excellence mostly. But now in the upcoming 20 years, we will really drive it by being innovative and delivering innovations.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you all for the participation. I would like to thank you especially also Ibrahim for sharing, let's say, internal perspective and knowledge with us. So let's give him a big applause. So please use your reactions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Or just hands if you prefer. So thank you, Martin. It was very useful for us, and thanks to giving your perspective and spending time with us. So what's in front of us? Because officially we are just closing the event for, let's say, in the big audience, big room. So now we will start to have some smaller discussions in the breakout rooms. So from the official part, we are just closing. So if you would like to stay with us, you need to assign yourself into 3 breakout rooms.